Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry, it's been a hot minute. I've been really busy with life stuff and then also bike and car stuff. So I'm actually going to post an update too on the Lexus, which you'll probably want to see because there's a lot of work I've done on that. So coming back over here to the GSXR 2001 GSXR. So I'll kind of give you an update of what I've done and what I'm about to do. So new battery, new spark plugs, I cleaned the heck out of the fuel injectors. So I took them out. I used a ultrasonic cleaner, or put them in an ultrasonic cleaner, cleaned the heck out of them, only to find out that there's in fact an O-ring that is torn. So I got a fuel leak when I went to test it. So I'm gonna put some new O-rings here, new filter, oil change, drain the fuel, clean the tank, new fuel in there, new fuel pump. What else? Just kind of general going through of everything. What it still needs really is I have to wire up you can see the wires hanging. I need to wire up the license plate lights. I am going to replace the chain, rear sprocket and front sprocket, but I want to get her running and on her feet first, and then I'll go ahead and take care of that. Likewise, I've got some new Pirellis to put on there too, so I'll have to take that into the shop to get that done. However, what I notice is when she runs, and if you've seen the short video of her running, you'll notice that she runs, but it's kind of, you can tell it's not running strong. Like the RPMs stick at about 1,000, which is low for an idle, especially a cold idle. And I just couldn't get her to really stick. And what I noticed too is if I gave her any throttle, right away it died out. Right? It was just a really weak one. And if I left her running, she'd run for maybe 10 seconds, maybe 15, and then die out, like so, fall on her face. And so I checked the fast idle and low idle screws. They were all set right. Everything looked good there. And then I noticed that the battery, which I kept on a tender, if I ran it, the battery would lose power like crazy. So essentially what that told me is that it was not only firing off the battery, but it was running off the battery, which of course, if you know anything about bikes, they're not meant to run off the battery. They're meant to start with the battery and the lights run off and everything like that. But once the battery started, it should be the stator or generator that's producing the power that keeps the bike running, right? So yeah, so what I've done now is I've decided, okay, I need to replace the stator. What I should have done, you might remember from a previous video, is the stator connector was just fried. So what I did is I actually bridged the gap with thicker wire to make the connection here and soldered them back together, so those are fine. However, what I should have thought about is if the wires are fried, if the plug is fried rather, there's a decent chance that the stator is fried. So I didn't think of that because I'm an idiot, but now what we're going to do is we're going to take the stator out. I've got a new one just here. We're going to drop in a new stator with a new gasket for the stator cover, and then also a new rectifier because the system obviously works in harmony with each other. So I'm going to pop off the rear end here and drop in a new rectifier as well. So what I'll do is I'll pop off the rectifier cover, or a stator's cover, excuse me. I'll show you what the stator looks like, the state of the stator, and then I'll kind of button everything back up and show you that. Also, there's something I want to talk about with the next stage of the project that I'm really excited about. So yeah, let me go ahead and pop that off and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so here's the inside of the stator. If you notice, by the way, this doesn't appear to be an OE. I think this has actually been replaced at some point too. This doesn't look like the OE ones do. But if you notice, several of the coils are discolored, right? So there's a couple there by my thumb, there's a couple up here at the top right, and notice some of the coils are actually even losing they're coming uncoiled basically. So there's some more discoloration there like that. And if you compare this to a brand new one, right, where they're very uniform, the color is consistent all the way across, like so. Clearly this one was kind of on its way out. Maybe not fully fried, but it wasn't looking great. So yeah, so it's best that we replace this here too, because this might be the source of our problem, I would think. Especially, I'm not pleased with the idea of that coil coming busted like that. And the other ones are starting to look like they've got some uncoiling that's happening too. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this sucker out. We will replace the gasket. Actually, it doesn't even look like I had a gasket on there. So there was a slight oil, oh wait, hold on. Oh, there was a gasket. Okay, good. Okay, there was a slight oil leak at the bottom, not bad, but yeah. So I'll replace that gasket. I've got a brand new one just here. And some things to point out too, by the way, it might take a little convincing to get out of there because not only is it the bolts, but it is the dowels. You can see there's a dowel pin there and a dowel pin there. I think there's actually even one more that stayed in the bike itself. As far as the bolts go, there they are down there. They are all the same size with the exception of the lower two, which are slightly shorter. Interestingly enough, my bike didn't have the lower two, so that could also explain the slight oil leak. So clearly somebody's been in here before. We're going to button it up really nice, make sure we put some replacement bolts down at the bottom, and then we'll seal that back up. I did, by the way, in case you're wondering, I took the battery out. I'm not about to do any electrical work when the battery's still hot or plugged in, so I took it out of the machine altogether. And then with regard to the rectifier comes out with two, I believe those are 10s, top and bottom like that for mounting, and then it just plugs in just here. I'll replace the zip tie as well. We'll get to that in just a second. All right, all buttoned up, not too bad. I spliced in the new Stator wires like this. So I made sure to use some solder, right? And put some sheathing, some heat shrink on it like that. So it should be nice and secure. When it comes to the, putting the Stator cover back in place and everything like that, make sure the gasket lines up well. You can kind of see ever so much of the gasket hanging out like this over the edge like that. I replaced it, even though I don't think it needed it. But what I will say too, make sure you tighten all of the screws in a sequence, right? I don't usually follow factory spec because I'm an idiot, but make sure you go one round. I actually do it like I do taking off or putting on wheels, right? So you do like a star pattern. So down here, up, over, across, like so. And then I did it probably 3 cycles of that to make sure it's nice and tight, nice and secure. You want to make sure too that the gasket that holds the wires in place at the top is nice and seated well. So that one obviously is like this. I went up here and went ahead and placed the rectifier. As I said, the rectifier has a 10 and a 10. It is a Phillips head as well, but you know, got to go with the sockets. So I popped those bad boys out. This was actually an aftermarket rectifier because you could tell by the spacers. There are 2 little spacers that push it off of the body a little bit. You can see one there and then one down at the bottom. These do not match because whoever had it off before me lost one of them, I'm sure, because there's just a nut that's used right there. But anyway, on there nice and tight. The plug went in very easily. Obviously, it's a 5-wire plug with a 1. It's actually a 6-wire plug, but it's got 1 that's left out. So there are 5 there plus a blank. And then I just re-zip tied it here just to keep everything tucked up and out of the way. So really not a bad job. I say that. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see how that goes. I'm waiting on the O-ring to replace on the fuel injector before I go and try and light any of this up because you wouldn't believe the amount of fuel it lost. It actually leaked fuel all night long in my garage. It was so bad you could actually smell it in the kitchen in the house. It was brutal. Anyway, I got in trouble for that. So as soon as the O-ring comes in, we'll pop that sucker in place, and then hopefully I'll be able to throw up a better video of the bike running where it actually is running nice and strong. So yeah, there's that. And then last thing too, I want to say, you've probably noticed over the videos that the fairings weren't in the best of shape. There they are up there like this. They were banged up. They were showing their age, and they need to be replaced. And I did order some fairings. They're on their way right now. I'm not going to tell you what the design is. It's not the design that came off. This bike is an 01, and this is actually the body style and bike that made me fall in love with bikes. There were some special editions released around then, 01, 02. So that's a bit of a teaser. If you want to see what the actual fairings are, of course, watch hopefully the next video. It depends on when they come in. But keep watching the videos, and you'll see which one it is. I think you're going to like it. I'm stoked. Young me would have just lost his mind at the idea of having a Gixxer with those fairings on it. So anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Give a like and subscribe, and take care.